Good afternoon, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of Sportsmemo's College Football Forecast. My friends, we come to you every Thursday during the NCAA football campaign, bringing you tons of free winners, amazing betting insights, and a few laughs to boot from some of Sportsmemo's documented leaderboard fixtures. So grab that helmet, lace up those cleats, get ready to make money in college football. When? This weekend. We have an amazing show today. Let's bring this good-looking panel on, this panel of documented leaderboard fixtures over at Sportsmemo. The Iceman cometh, Jesse Schule, and Insiders Room, you know him as Nick Parsons. Good afternoon, Jesse. How are you today?
Doing great, Joe. Always love to be here talking about football.
Jesse, each show that I see you on, you look more and more about like a Southie leg breaker, like you're going to be in the next Ben Affleck, like a Matt Damon Southie movie there, but you're looking strong. You're looking great. Always proud and honored to be sharing a panel with you. My good friend, I got to share a panel with him this morning. We laughed a lot, gave out some great content. Nick Parsons, Insiders Room. How are you today, sir?
Fantastic. Looking forward to hopefully giving out another winner here, Joe.
Well, I got to tell you, I've looked at your record. You give out a lot of winners. So sports fans, get ready. Couple of quick announcements before we get into some roundtable games and a best bet. First of all, guys, you're going to notice I got my Proud Dad Marine shirt. Today we celebrate the United States Marine Corps' birthday, November 10th, 1775. So to all those Marines out there that serve this country courageously and unselfishly, so the rest of us in this country can walk and speak freely, we owe you a debt we can never repay. God bless you all. God bless America. And Marines, Semper Fi. Semper Fi. Having said that, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe. I get choked up. My son's a Marine. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss any of the sports betting content here at Sportsmemo TV. You know, every show, because it just gets better and better. The customer appreciation at Sportsmemo is unrivaled. We know that saving your money is just as good as making money. A couple of quick discounts, a couple of quick announcements, free winners, best bets. Let me tell you what we got going on. The $2 Tuesday featured cappers at Sportsmemo still available. My buddy and icon, a pioneer of the sports betting industry, Ross Benjamin, and the man, the myth, the legend himself, Tim Michael. They both got big winners up. 5% plays, just $2 each. You can't beat that with a bet. After the show, Sportsmemo. Take advantage of Ross and Tim Michael. Big winners. $2 a piece. That just amazes me, guys. Couple other quickie discounts, guys. We have a 30-day NFL or NCAA football package. Anybody on the website, $99. Guys, whether you bet $20 parlays or $20,000 a game, you could go over and you could get your favorite capper or cappers. $99 for either college or pro football, 30 days. Guys, I got to tell you, no matter what you bet, this initial investment will bring you back an immediate return. You come back for a longer stay. Follow maybe some more cappers. Having said that, a couple of other things. I know it's a college football show, but let's talk basketball. College basketball, a big discount. Oh, my God, this amazes me. I bought it myself. 7 days college basketball, only $49, both at Sportsmemo and Wager Talk. No code necessary. They're laughing. I love these guys. Guys, and I got to tell you, I'm going to toot my own horn. The great folks in our Detroit office, guys, I got to tell you, they never stop honoring me. I'm the number one NBA capper since opening day. And, guys, number one winning percentage, number one profits. After the show, you can follow Joe D to the bank in the NBA. 7 days. NBA, $49. Use code COURT7. Having said all that, my friends, no matter what, go over to www.sportsmemo.com after the show. Take advantage of those amazing discounts we currently have offered, plus the deals page. There are days that I don't even know I have a special on the deals page. Check out that deals page. It's amazing. Now, guys, I will tell you this. Every successful sports bettor and sports handicapper I know use the Gold Sheet, the oldest and the most respected of all the betting publications. Go to www.goldsheet.com and use what the pros use. Now, before we get into free plays, here are some college football line movements this week from our good friends at my favorite sports book on the planet, the Superbook at the Westgate. Now, I tell you each show, I just want to remind you, each week, lines can move due to the general public moving them, injuries, weather conditions, etc., among other things. These three specific line movements in college football are moved by the smart money movers here in Southern Nevada, and we wanted to make you aware of them. Rutgers, 11.5 down to 9.5. The wise guys are all over the Scarlet Knights. That opened up 11.5, plus 11.5, went right down to plus 9.5. Do they know something we don't? We'll see. Michigan goes from 29.5 up to 31. The smart money's all over. Woof, woof, over the Wolverines. Navy plus 17 down to 15.5. The Sharps are saying the midshipmen, let me try that again. The midshipmen are the way to go. Three big line movements. Rutgers, Michigan, Navy. guys, from the Smart Money here in Las Vegas. So without any further ado, my friends, we have 3 roundtable games, then our best spec segment that Jesse Schule, Nick Parsons, and myself will be chiming in on. Our first roundtable game is a doozy, my friends. Number 17, Tulane. With the win here, gets a big step closer to an AAC title and a New Year's Day bowl game. The 8-1 Green Wave host the 7-2 Knights. The dog has covered 5 of the last 6 meetings in this rivalry, but you know how I like a big but Tulane has covered 7 straight in AAC action. That just astounds me. Central Florida at Tulane, Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Green Wave, 1.5 total, 54.5. Let's go to the Iceman himself, Jesse Schule.
Well, Joe, this is a big game. Obviously, the 2 best teams in the American Athletic Conference, and this line looks a little bit fishy. You got Tulane with the better record, the higher ranking. They've got that impressive win over Kansas State, and this game's just about a pick'em. Central Florida, probably the better name recognition, bigger brand. They've been the big dog in the conference for the last few years, but I like Tulane here. I mean, you look at Central Florida's quarterback, John Reese Plumlee, didn't play last week because he had a concussion. Backup Mikey Keene threw for 219 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception on 22 of 28 passing. So pretty solid performance out of the backup quarterback. But of course, that was against a Memphis team that ranks 111th nationally in scoring defense. You look at Tulane's quarterback, they got Michael Pratt, 3rd-year starter. Nothing sexy about Michael Pratt. He just continues to get the job done. 14 touchdowns, just 4 picks. Tulane's defense has been very impressive. Tulane ranks 11th nationally in scoring defense, allowing just 16.9 points per game. Home field could be huge here. The home team has won 8 of the last 10 head-to-head straight up. Tulane is 10-1 against the spread in their last 11 overall. Central Florida has failed to cover in 5 of the last 6 head-to-head meetings between these 2 teams. Like I said, I think it's a matter of Central Florida having the bigger brand name, and I think they should probably be a bigger underdog here in a tough road game at Tulane.
Jesse says something smells fishy with that wave of green. I love it, Jesse. No pun intended. I always love Jesse. As entertaining as he is informative. The line is off is what he says. Interesting matchup, Jesse. It really is. You know, you got 2 of the best in the conference. Something's got to give here. Great breakdown, great analysis, my friends. Guys, we have 1 roundtable game down. We have 2 to go, so don't go anywhere. Our second roundtable game. Very interesting matchup, guys. I think it's one of the most interesting on the boards. Back in August, if I would have told everybody out there that by mid-November, the Rebels would have both a better record overall and a better conference record than the Tide, you would have probably put me in a straitjacket. Well, maybe I belong there anyway, but not because of that reason. Bama has only covered 3 of the last 10 against Ole Miss. Alabama at Mississippi, Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Crimson Tide, 12, total 64.5. Let's go to our good buddy, the documented winner at Sportsmemo, Nick Parsons. Nick, give us our take on this game, please.
Yeah, both of these teams have been involved in several higher scoring games of late. But for me, guys, I'm expecting more of a defensive affair here. As you mentioned, Joe, Bama 7-3, Ole Miss 8-1. Yeah, Bama lost a heartbreaking OT game in LSU last weekend, 32-31. It was a big favorite, 13.5-point favorite. And Ole Miss is off a tight 31-28 win over Texas A&M. But yeah, Georgia's in control of the conference at 9-0. Ole Miss is actually coming off its bye week here, so it's coming in completely prepared. Also remember, the last time the Tide lost this year, the following week they came out and destroyed Mississippi State by a score of 30-6. So I think that Bama is going to double down here defensively as well in this bounce back opportunity. But LSU, when it's on offense, it's going to be trying to hold the ball as much as it can while it is on offense. And so I think when you add it all up, I think that this over-under line is a little bit too high this week, guys. So I'm going to suggest a play on the under.
Nick Parsons doing some great work over at Sportsmemo, which is under Bama, Mississippi. The total currently 64.5. Guys, Nick is like E.F. Hunt. When he talks, people listen. So if you're going to jump on this under, get it now You may be getting a nice fade before it moves a little bit because like I said, when Nick puts a lean on something, it moves. Great breakdown, great analysis, Nick. Thank you very much. Guys, don't go nowhere because we still have half of this roundtable game, another roundtable game, a best bet segment. Let's go to our good buddy, Jesse Schule. Jesse, this is a really big matchup. Bama, nobody would have thought them to get a loss, let alone two. I mean, maybe some people out there would have said a loss, tough schedule, whatnot. Maybe a letdown here or there, but now 2 losses. Going to be a tough battle, even if they can get into that CFP right now. It really is. So Alabama, Mississippi, Saturday, 3:30 Eastern. Crimson Tide, 1264.5. Jesse, take it away.
Well, Joe, this is obviously a big game, and all the pundits are talking about it. And the narrative that people are floating around, including some of my colleagues, is Alabama off a loss. People are mentioning Alabama 5-0 against the spread coming off a loss. Well, I disagree with that sentiment completely because we haven't seen Alabama with 2 regular season losses in quite some time. So what they've done over the last 5 or 6 years off of the loss is, in my mind, not really that relevant when they have 2 losses and they're probably no longer in contention for the college football playoffs. This is what I would, what you would call the dream crusher scenario for Alabama. They're in a spot where, their season's effectively, a disappointment, and there's probably nothing they can do to get it back. And now they're on the road where they have struggled. And the stats, I think, and the trends that do matter is how has Alabama performed on the road. You look at their road games this year at Texas. They should have lost that game. They won by 1 point, but there was a pivotal call that should have been a safety in the end zone, ended up being a targeting penalty that favored Alabama and allowed them to stay in the game when they were getting beaten up by Texas. They had the game at Arkansas that they actually won and covered, and the final score would suggest they had that game in hand. But the reality is it was a 1-score game in the 4th quarter. Of course, they lost to Tennessee and they lost to LSU. In the game against Tennessee, they gave up 567 total yards. Tennessee's pace gave them problems. Well, the one team that plays faster than Tennessee is Ole Miss. Now, Jackson Dart, not a great quarterback, not that accurate, doesn't throw for a lot of yards. One thing that Jackson Dart does quite well, though, is big plays. He's got a pretty good rating on passes downfield of 20 yards or more. He doesn't throw the ball a lot. The Rebels run the ball quite a bit, and he's not going to be asked to win this game by himself. Alabama is 8-2 straight up in the last 10 head-to-head meetings between these teams, but they have only covered in 3 of those games. A dozen points for Alabama on the road. I'm not buying that. I'll take the points, take the dog.
Jesse, I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Jesse Schule says, take the dog, woof, woof. Take Mississippi at home, getting 12 points. Good breakdown, good analysis, Jesse. What we've come to expect from you. Great stuff. Guys, don't go anywhere. We have another roundtable game, then our best bet segment. And even if you missed any part of the show, don't worry. We'll run them down later on. Not a problem. Our third roundtable game, sports fans, I want you to know, just crazy. Do the odds makers know something we don't hear, in my opinion? Are they setting us up for a big bear trap here? The 4th-ranked undefeated 9-0 Horned Frogs are a touchdown dog as visitors against the 18th-ranked 6-3 Longhorns. TCU has covered 6 of the last matchups here. This is a big game. This really is a big game that has serious implications, not just in the conference, but for the CFP. I will tell you that. TCU at Texas, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Longhorns are -7, -$1.15. What does that tell you guys? The odds makers don't want to put the hook on that game. I'll tell you that. 7.5, -115. Total is 65. Let's go to my good buddy, Nick Parsons, Insiders Room. Nick, give us your take on this game, please.
Yeah, this was a difficult one for sure when I received this as one of our roundtable games, because as you said, this is kind of a weird line. Do they know something that we don't? Texas is 6-3. That's 5-2 in the Big 12. TCU is 9-0, 6-0 in the Big 12. The Longhorns, they're coming off that narrow, skin of the teeth victory there against K-State. Won in the last seconds of the game on a fumble recovery. TCU's on a roll. It's won, the 9 straight. It's finding ways to win. in these games. It's had to overcome some challenges. So yeah, it's the dog here, despite its superior record. TCU beat Texas Tech last weekend. Max Duggan, he had 195 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The Horned Frogs, they're tough to keep up to. Their offense is awesome. They average 43.1 points per game. That's 3rd in the country, and they're allowing 27. The Longhorns, they're coming off a crazy 34-27 last-second win over K-State. Yeah, Quinn Ewers, he had 197 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and they only allowed 21.8 points per game. But I think, TCU is motivated here. Back in 2015, I think it was, when they were first having the college playoff, it went undefeated, and they were snubbed in that. It's motivated here, keep that perfect record going, to have another shot at the playoff football playoff. The Horned Frogs are also a perfect 5-0 against the spread in their last 5, following an against the spread win. So I don't know. I'm going to take the points here. I'm going to take TCU to keep the streak alive here, Joe.
My good friend Nick Parsons doing some great work over at Sportsmemo. Nick is one of the sharpest guys in sports betting. I sit back and I literally take notes when Nick's talking, because I'm going to be doing my due diligence later today, and I want to make sure I remember word for word what Nick says. That's how good he is, my friends. He says, TCU. Nick, not want to put you on the spot, but this line goes right now. It's 7 minus 115 or 7 plus this. You like the dog. This game goes to 7.5. I got to tell you, I'm all over it anyway.
Right.
Do you recommend anybody out there buying it to 7.5 or maybe waiting?
That's a good question. Yeah, you might want to wait a little bit closer to game time, but yeah, to get that extra hook would obviously be huge. And so, yeah, I would say wait a little bit closer to game time. And if it hasn't gone, then consider purchasing the hook.
One of the sharpest minds of sports betting today, Nick Parsons, guys. You got to go follow him, man. We're going to talk about him in a minute during the best bet segment. So hold on to your hats. My good friend, Jesse Schule. Jesse, battle for the Lone Star State, TCU at Texas. Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Longhorns, 7 minus that 115. Once again, the odds makers don't want to put the hook on there. Total 65. Jesse Schule, the floor is yours.
Well, Joe, this is too easy, isn't it? TCU's undefeated. TCU's in line for the college football playoffs. They really need this win, and they're getting a whopping 7 points. 70% of the tickets are on TCU, but you know what I'm going to say next? Not so fast, my friends. Joe, I know you like TCU, and Nick, you like TCU, but I'm going to caution against that, and hopefully I can change your minds and make a compelling argument. I have been waiting for weeks to find a spot to bet against TCU, and I'm not happy that you got to lay 7 points to do it, but here's why I'm doing it regardless. TCU's impressive resume includes wins over 4 ranked teams: Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Kansas State. You know what all 4 of those games have in common? All 4 of those opponents had their backup quarterback under center in those games. Talk about luck to face 4 ranked teams, and all 4 of them have their backup quarterback. Granted, TCU did knock a couple of those quarterbacks out, but Texas has got a pretty stout offensive line. Texas at home is tough. This is a very tough spot for a TCU team that really doesn't have a great defense. They've given up a ton of points. I think TCU will get their fair share of points, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop Texas. I really think this is a situation where you got a square dog. We've seen a few instances where this has happened already this season. Think back at UCLA getting 7 points at Oregon. Everybody was on UCLA in that game. And then last week, even myself, I got suckered into taking Tennessee plus 8.5 at Georgia, and look what happened there. And I think history repeats itself here. Square dog loses by double digits. I'm going to go with Texas.
Jesse Schule, the Iceman, red hot since October in all sports, says he's taking Texas. We have our first contradiction. Sports fans, let me run down the roundtable games. Then we're going to go into our best bet segment, so don't go nowhere. Hold on to your hats. Our first roundtable game, Central Florida at Tulane. The Wave, 1.5, 54.5. Jesse said Tulane. Correct, Jesse? Tulane in that game?
You betcha.
You got it. Nick didn't chime in about that game. You'll learn why in a minute. Our second roundtable game, Bama at Mississippi, Crimson Tide 12-64. If Nick says he likes the under in this game, Jesse says woof, woof, taking the home doggy. Our third roundtable game, the battle for the Lone Star State, TCU, Texas. Longhorns 7 minus 115.65. Nick says TCU take the points. Jesse says, not so fast. I disagree, and I'll bet you dinner on it. Watch out, Nick. If you win, make sure he takes you. Make sure he doesn't take you to Denny's. But he says Texas. He likes Texas. He says that he likes Texas big here. So, guys, three roundtable games. We have our best bet segment coming up. And, guys, I got to tell you, my good friend Nick Parsons is going to bet lead off here on the best bet segment. I want to tell you a little bit about Nick. Very proud of him. He's a trooper. He's coming to us today from an undisclosed location. Do you know why? Because he's on the run. He's on the lam from the FBI. He's wanted for arson. He's scorching bookmakers. He's on fire. He told me this morning he's heating up. Guess what? I looked up his records. He ain't heating up. He is El Fuego. He's killing it. Doesn't matter the sport, the turf, college, pro, this, that, the other thing. He is on fire. He's going to tell you what he's been doing. He's going to tell you what he's going to be doing. And he's got a best bet for you. Nick Parsons on the lam, undisclosed. FBI wants the for arson. Nick, take it away.
Thanks, Joe. For sure. No, it's been a great run of late, for sure. November, we're hoping to make this a month to remember. I've gotten out already 4-0 with my 5% picks. I'm 1-0 with my 10% picks. I've gotten out to a 4-1, 80% start in college basketball. I've also won 7 straight weeks in a row in college football, going 23-9 in that span. So, guys, I'm seeing the board well and lots of plays up. So go check that out over at Sportsmemo. And so for this play, this is I agree with Jesse here. I like Tulane. These are two really good teams going head-to-head here in the AAC. Central Florida is 7-2. Tulane is 8-1. Central Florida off that big 35-28 road win at Memphis as a 2.5-point favorite. Tulane is also off a big win. It pulled off the 27-13 road victory over Tulsa as a 6.5-point favorite. Last week the Golden Knights, they had a 21-14 halftime lead, and then they carried that over to the 35-28 victory. As Jesse pointed out earlier, Mikey Keene, he only had 219 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. RJ Harvey, he was great on the ground. He had 151 yards rushing and a touchdown. But Tulane, it's beaten some decent teams this year. Houston, East Carolina, Memphis. But the one loss there came to Southern Miss. Michael Pratt, last week, he had 125 yards passing and 2 touchdowns over Tulsa. Tyjae Spears, he had 157 yards rushing and a touchdown on 14 carries. But with a spread like this, obviously the odds makers think that these two teams are really evenly matched, and I think for the most part they are. They're really similar in many respects. UCF averages 35.7 points per game. Tulane averages 32.9. They both have really strong run games. But here's the catcher for me. UCF is just 3-9 against the spread in its last 12 following an against the spread win. The Wave, they're 4-0 against the spread in the same position. I think that home field advantage can't be overlooked. Give me Tulane at home. That's my call.
My good buddy Nick Parsons, the Insider Room, says grab that surfboard and ride the green wave all the way to shore. I love him. You love him. He's a winner. And I'm not kidding. I get excited when I work with Nick because he is a winner. He is scorching books. Guys, after this show, I'm going to tell you now, if you don't go after the show to Sportsmemo and go at least look at Nick's discounts and what he's got to offer, you're going to hate yourself come Monday morning because he's going to crush it again this week. Nick Parsons is a winner, and you will be too if you follow him. Let me go to my good buddy, Jesse Schule. Guys, Jesse and I have been friends for over a decade, and we've worked together in a lot of different places, radio, this, that, and the other thing. Jesse's always very entertaining, but bottom line is he brings you winners. And since August, I don't know if there's a hotter handicapper on the planet altogether than Jesse Schule. If you don't believe me, go check out his numbers. Numbers don't lie. All right. But Jesse just hasn't done it this last few months or the last few months or last year during this time of year. Jesse does it year in and year out. Guys, I say it before and I say it about 1 or 2 of the guys or 3 of the guys here at Sportsmemo. We're considered dinosaurs these days, Jess. I'll be honest with you. We've been around a long time. But we've seen a lot of guys come and go, and I've worked with the best, and Jesse is certainly one of the best. He has been on fire since August, but I got to tell you, he's another guy. If you follow Jesse with a 3 or 7, a 30-day pass, or one of these 30-day college or pro football passes, I'm going to tell you right now, it is amazing. I advise you, though, to get an all-sports pass for Jesse, because Jesse is a winner in multiple sports. I'll tell you what, man, I know nothing. I know more about turbine engines than I know about Canadian football and some of the other things Jesse chimes in about, but he's a winner. Doesn't matter the realm, doesn't matter the country of origin, doesn't matter pro or college. Jesse's a winner and numbers don't lie. Don't believe me? Go check them out. He's going to tell you what he's been doing. He's going to tell you what he's going to be doing, and he's got a free best bet for you. Iceman, take it away.
Well, Joe, despite the fact that we're both getting up there in age, I still look pretty damn good in a tight yellow jumpsuit with a blonde wig. And it's been a couple weeks since I pulled that outfit out, but I'm planning on bringing it back for your Monday morning show. And you know what that means, calling for a sweep on the gridiron this weekend. So you better get involved in that now, because it's going to be a big one. But best bets, what are we looking at for best bets? I got an ugly game that you're probably not going to want to watch. Wisconsin at Iowa. Nothing sexy about either of these two teams. But what catches my eye here is Iowa as a home dog against a Wisconsin team that's coming off a couple decent home wins. I just don't think this is a good spot for Wisconsin. I don't think they match up very well against the Hawkeyes' stingy defense. And their quarterback, Graham Mertz, last week in a win over Maryland, 5 of 16 passing, 77 yards, no touchdowns, luckily no interceptions. Mertz, last time he played at Iowa, 169 yards, an interception on 20 of 38 passing, losing 28-7. That was back in 2020. Iowa is very tough to run against, especially at home in Iowa, especially in November. Wisconsin needs to run the ball to be successful here. I don't see them being able to do that. Wisconsin has failed to cover in 4 of their last 5 road games. They've failed to cover in 5 of their last 6 coming off the win. I really think home field will be key here. The Hawkeyes have been playing better offensively, which was bound to happen. They were pretty terrible on offense all year. But at home with that defense behind them, I like them to get the win here.
Jesse Schule on fire for months now. Doesn't matter the sport. Doesn't matter pro or college. Doesn't matter the turf. He says Iowa. Taking the points. He likes them. He said not a sexy game. Guys, it doesn't have to be a sexy game for you to find gold in them Dart Hills. And Jesse's one of the best at digging that gold. Jesse's a winner after the show. Make sure you take advantage of those customer appreciation discounts. Follow Jesse. You're going to follow him to the bank. Guys, I want to tell you, before I get into my best bet, Jesse said it's not sexy. You know what is sexy? Me, you, and Nick on the same panel. 3 sexy guys. You put us side by side. It looks like the dating game. Maybe at the end of the show, we'll give you the big dating game kiss for you. Now, guys, I will tell you this. I would like to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing, and I'm very, very excited about it. It's not because my good friend Dr. Chuck prescribed me some Viagra. It's because I'm running red hot, guys. My friends, number 1 in the world in NBA in both winning percentage and profit. I've been at the top of the leaderboard since when? Can I get a what? Since the opening day of the season. 11-5 premium releases. Good for 68.7%. $100 bettors are up. $2,040 tonight. I continue to get you paid on the pro basketball hardwood. My legendary NBA fast break play. They're on a 41-15 run. Get on my hot streak in the NBA. Get this proven and documented winner. Get on a fast break and get paid. I posted it for what? $15. That just astounds me. I bought it myself. That's such a bargain. Now, as you know, I'm the hottest football capper on the planet right now over the recent weeks. My NFL, guys, it seems like I'm winning every single game I put out, plus my college football big game, El Fuego. I promise you between tonight, which is Thursday night, and tomorrow afternoon, Friday afternoon, I'm going to have a couple of games of the month again. And, I'm the best big game hunter on the planet. Posted for both college and pro football. At least 5% play. And guess what? Don't tell nobody. Keep between us. A 10% play. And I'm 17-2. In 2022, my 10% plays. Everything will be available between tonight and tomorrow morning as far as your weekend football winners over at Sportsmemo. Guys, let me talk about my best bet. And like I said, I'm excited, and not because Dr. Chuck prescribed me more Viagra. By the way, Doc, I'm running low. Send me another bottle. My friends, 20.5 points may seem like a lot of wood to lay for Tennessee against the game Missouri team, but I'm here to tell you, it ain't nearly enough, folks. The 5th-ranked Volunteers are sitting at 8-1. Yes, they dropped 4 spots in the rankings this past week, but all 4 teams that sit in front of them are undefeated. put a pin in that, guys. We're going to come back around to it. Following their first loss of the campaign, they know that if they keep their foot on the gas here, something's got to give with one of the teams ahead of them in the national rankings. One of these 4 teams, maybe more, will lose a game. Puts them in the catbird seat, I'll tell you that, my friends. Thus putting them in an ideal spot for at least a consideration for the CFP. Getting them off their first loss of the campaign, a 27-13 defeat at the hands of top-ranked Bulldogs. I expect this team to bounce back this week with a vengeance. I'm Sicilian. I know a lot about vengeance. I think they're going to redeem themselves, show the pollsters what they're truly made of. I understand that Missouri had Georgia on the ropes back at the beginning of October, but that just tells me that the timing is right for the Tigers and wrong for the Volunteers not a week ago. You know, it was just a week ago that Missouri took a 21-17 loss at home at the hands of Kentucky, bringing them back down to earth following victories over Vandy and South Carolina. Granted, they've got a pretty decent defense, but I still don't see them stopping the well-balanced attack of Tennessee's offense here. The Volunteers rank nationally in scoring, second nationally in scoring, lighting up scoreboards for over 43.3 a game. No matter what happens, the Tigers just can't put up that many points on any opponent, my friends. Mark my words. Their offense just isn't built that way. It's not. And when you throw into the mix the fact that the Vols defense is pretty damn good themselves, I really like this matchup. UT owns one of the best Ds in the country at stopping the rush. I get it. They're not very good at stopping the pass, but Missouri, guys, they rank 101st in passing. They're no threat in the air anyway. Also, folks, for our purposes, Tennessee has been one of the most bankable teams in college football this season. 7-2 ATS in 2022, which does include a 5-1 ATS mark at Neyland Stadium. They've also had their way with Missouri winning and covering 3 straight in this rivalry. The most recent meeting, a little over a year ago, the Volunteers outscored the Tigers by 38 points. At 20.5 points, Tennessee is a bargain. Take the Volunteers to keep their foot on the gas and keep their name in the CFP running. My friends, let me bring Nick and Jesse back. You know, I always have a good time here on these shows. Don't tell the people at Sports Memo. They may stop paying me. But I get to work with the best in the business. And you only know you're the best, so you know you're among the best when you're working with the best. And Jesse and Nick are 2 of the best I've ever worked with. I've worked with them all over the years. You name them, I've worked with them. I've seen guys come and go, and I've worked with the icons and the pioneers. Jesse and Nick are 2 of the best I've ever worked with. Don't believe me? Go check out the numbers over at Sports Memo, because numbers don't lie. Jesse and Nick's numbers are some of the most impressive in the world. Now, having said all that, guys, it's a lot. Don't forget. Let me real quick. Jesse, closing thoughts or comments for everybody out there before we head on out of here for the weekend.
Hook 'em horns.
It always makes me laugh, guys. Nick, closing thoughts or comments for our viewers.
Yeah, just the same thing that I echoed today on the First Family Show, guys. There's lots of sports going on, but remember, stay smart, stick to your unit size, and there you go.
Nick, a personal question between me and you, just between us. We won't let anybody else hear it. You get me in the morning on the First Family Show, and I'm revved up. I'm raring to go. Usually, all the panelists blame it on the 2 pots of Italian coffee or the Cuban coffee I'm drinking. I'm still revved up in the afternoon, no?
Absolutely. No, I think you could even be going stronger now. Maybe you're on to the Red Bulls now at this point.
Imagine me on Red Bull. Oh, my goodness gracious. I got to tell you right now, it's because I get to work with you and Jesse and the best cappers in the world here at Sports Memo. I want you to know, I really do. I feel honored to share a panel with these 2 amazing documented winners and 2 of the best guys I know. All right, guys, it's about time to head on out of here so you can take advantage of all these free content from Jesse, Nick, and myself. Don't forget to tune into all of Sports Memo TV's amazing content. Hit that subscribe button to get a reminder. You don't want to miss any of our Cappers free winners or betting insights. Thank you for tuning in, folks. And remember, increase your chances of making a profit. Follow the best collection of cappers anywhere on the planet right here at Sports Memo, because we don't go gambling, we go winning. On behalf of Sports Memo, Jesse, Nick, and me, Joey D, good luck out there and have a winning day.